Greetings and welcome to my dear Sagittarius friend. This is Ron from Tarot of the Twin Sun. The ninth house is open, and with the ninth and the third house axis, we have the axis of mutable air and fire combining together to create something in terms of truth, in terms of the quest for truth, in terms of the limitations of institutional thinking, in terms of the expansion of religious principles into the transcendental. We have here essentially Jupiter and Mercury dancing, and as Sagittarius, as you folks pull people in, you pull in a mercurial energy that actually gets on your nerves, but at the same time you are here to teach Mercury how to impart true wisdom. The thing is that you don't often have the patience for that. Mutable fire is probably the most healthy. Cardinal fire, not so much because of its intensity and its coloration of Mars. As well, we have fixed fire, which is the sun, and the sun combusts all those around. Leo tends to combust people around them. They tend to burn people. Not only that, it's fixed fire, which is, it's either an ember or it's a laser beam. And with fixed fire, that is a very intense, sort of exacting precision. It can be very detrimental in terms of eye contact. But anyway, we have mutable fire here, and the lesson is essentially to see that these individuals who you bring in are here to provide terra firma, to provide earthly sort of dimensions, something that Sagittarians naturally project away from with violent degree. And there's something about this that also produces the effect of grounding. Meeting these individuals, they ground you, and they also set in to a sense of a safe space, or a sense of a home of some sort, or the sense of a temple. I don't know why. But you will find that these people can be some of your best disciples in terms of your own practical or metaphysical philosophy. So let's go ahead and begin now with a three-part reading. Firstly, we're going to look into karma for the energy of Sagittarius. So for the month of February 2023, I'm seeing the sort of relapse and the emotional undertones, the waves, the undulations, the sort of the timelines of the past that come through an emotional reservoir or an emotional flow coming through. You once were able to escape from this with an intellectual comrade or a confidant, a colleague, perhaps a version of yourself where you were able to project into the ether in order to collect a sense of peace of mind. Now you have to understand that there are things, there's a propulsion that has pushed you that way, and there also are challenges within that. I think generally speaking, though, you are in good hands, and in the near future there might be something of a feeling that you have not experienced that which you could have by departing, by going off and reading a book or traveling or doing something in terms of an intellectual pursuit. This is all leading up to a state of, I would call it restlessness. Okay, we have the Six of Swords in the reverse, and then we have the 10 less the 6 equals 4. And with this, the Four of Swords, it usually indicates a state of restfulness. The thing is that this is kind of a burnout. It's like, oh, I could have done that, and then plop, something like that. This could have to do with essentially the cycle of the seasons. This could do with some of the new lunations that are occurring and some of the activity of Saturn in Aquarius. These are all possibilities. But therein we have it. There is a need to reinvest into an emotional flow from the past, to understand where and how you've projected into this restful state. There also is a sense that you could have experienced something differently. Let's go ahead and look further. Nine of Cups, interesting. Okay, we have here Five of Cups in the reverse. We have also the Eight of Cups in the reverse. A challenge to glue something back together, to help to repair your forward movement, repair your vehicle, repair something. Let's see. Okay, this is all leading up to the sun. Okay, so the advice is to take it slow. In terms of an incident, you have to repair something that is broken down. The difference being the Three of Cups, something that has broken down, that was once very much near and dear to you. This could be something external, it could be something that is technological in nature, but also it could be a very significant relationship or a friendship. There is a sense that there is detachment in the past. There also is some need to move forward into the future to get back to where you were supposed to be, which is through the energy of Gemini activating your 7th house. Let's see. Now, there's a funny thing to this. With the cup sequence. It could be that you have had way too much free time in terms of opportunities or potentials. It might be prudent to note that not choosing those to imbibe in those opportunities or those relationships, those potentials, those variables. Might have created an effect. Not that it's a negative thing, but there is a sense here that I'm seeing that there's some sort of regret that could be let loose, okay? Because there's a lot of potential in what you're doing, especially in terms of coming into oneness, trying to find people who relate to you on a very deep and profound level to the point of mirroring is very much on the cards here, okay? At least for the month of excuse me, February. So let's move on. We are going to the Great Mirror. The Great Mirror is the main spread of this reading for Sagittarius, and we'll be looking at Sagittarius and a significant other to see how these two relate. In terms of the Great Mirror, it's on a conscious, unconscious, and subconscious level. We're going to go quite deep in terms of that, in terms of the karmic effects. And karma is essentially action. It's also in perception of the mirror, illusory, meaning that these impressions that you get by looking through the mirror, they may be illusory, but at the same time they can have some sort of merit. So please use your discernment in this part of the reading. We'll go ahead and get started now. Okay, so I'm getting the vibe of fight or flight in this. Are you going to stay to finish off some sort of sequence, or are you just going to leave it? This person sees a lot of potential in you, but they also see that you see them in a certain way, extremely independent, fixed in what they do. There's also a very strong sort of hold on what your resources are, what your expectations are, and you come from a sense of the sort of growth sequence of humanity, wherein your efforts are very much sowing the seeds for the new earth, and you're in it for the long run. At the same time, there's something about them in which they are observing you, and if they were to contribute something to you, it would actually be beneficial to you in terms of your proficiency, in terms of essentially the details in which you put into your reality. The thing is that if you were to add to their calamity, it would be very much the same thing, but there's a difference. Because what they see, what they feel about the world, how they have been building their vision, is very much their own, and is very much independent and fixed on their own. So let's go on. Now, on a deeper level, I think they're going to try to hold this perspective they have, which is very fixed. They're very stubborn in that respect. At the same time, they can be quite affluent. They can actually provide for you a sense that things are working correctly if they were to share with you in some sort of way. The challenge is that they worry about their stability. They're very much self-focused in terms of bringing forward this vision, this very fixed vision of how to come up with wealth, as well as how to come up with the right set of mind. And this balancing act is what's holding them back in terms of using the energy of Mercury to reach you. There also is a possibility of, it's kind of like doing the right thing in terms of wits on your end. Wits and trying to do things as opposed to doing things out of hope. So you can be hopeful in one respect, you can be witty on another, and that sort of banter or that sort of mental exercise might be what's holding you back in terms of hope versus wit versus being able to be wise in that in which you do. I think ultimately we have here the Lovers in reverse coming out in the subconscious realm, the King of Pentacles looking away. There also is something here about the Eight of Pentacles, which I've been pointing at this whole reading. Now, there's something that you can gain from this in terms of manifestation. It's already happening, meaning that you don't have to commit to this person. You don't have to give much. In fact, they wouldn't encourage it. At the same time, what comes out of it is a sense that things are going to work out anyways in your favor, or in the idea that you can maintain a sense of real, pragmatic responsibility, and look at the details and essentially be guided by your desires to achieve a sense of perfection, a sense that you are doing the right thing, an attention to detail. Now, the funny thing is, on the conscious level, we have the Six of Rods in the reverse. I think both of you know that this is the wrong path to take, whatever the path is. But I think mostly it's an observation. There is a sense of dryness, there's a sense of restraint and responsibility in your end that helps you to reinforce your own reality, your own future. At the same time, we have the Eight of Cups here. You're willing to make challenges. You're willing to not only make challenges, but achieve great heights and great responsibilities. But it's going to require a lot of sacrifice. There's a lot of sacrificial energy here. And if you do that, you will be able to purify your soul and to radiate to such a degree that you will elevate, and this person will see you for that. They will respect you for that. Ultimately, what comes out is Judgment in reverse. If this is a past relationship, there is a very strong possibility that the path that has been walked has been set aside, and it's been cast aside for a reason, for a higher purpose. And judgment comes out in order to produce the effect of clarity when it comes to the sort of the higher ups, or the heavens, or the celestial forces, essentially keeping this thing at bay, keeping this expectation at bay. Okay, and there's a lot of expectation here, but I think it's most important to focus on your work, your craft, and how to essentially perfect your state of existence for the time being. Yeah, that's the best I can do. Ten of Swords did come up in the reverse for you, meaning that you can sort of go through the pain. And in fact, if you were to go through the pain, there would be a lot more pleasure and energetic sort of freedom if you were to do so. And by pain, I mean you would have to exercise the exploration of truth to such an extent that the mind would be exasperated. And at that point, that breaking point, comes the stress relief, essentially. It comes the aha, wherein it's either you don't know or you would rather not know. And in that not knowing, there is great comfort. And that's the best I can do for you. Please take care now. Bye-bye.